What's good, everybody? It's your man Big Dom coming live and at you on the True Players Podcast episode, hitting you with the in-your-face, unedited, straight, blunt talk about sports, finances, relationships, current events, and many other topics along the way. Check out my next episode. What's good, everybody? It's man Big Dom coming live and at you on the True Players Podcast episode tonight at 10:30 in the evening. Bless you guys with another podcast tonight. I'm going to talk about a few things tonight with the Mecole Hardman assessment slash tampering with the New York Jets. Well, tampering with the Kansas City Chiefs, tampering with the New York Jets, and things like that. But let's get to it because I caught a lot of flack. I responded to a post on WFAN on Facebook, and people came at me. Some people came at me a little bit, came at me the wrong way. Accused me of being a racist and being a Trump supporter. But that's another story for another day. I was gonna put this guy on blast, but I was like, you know what? It ain't even worth it. I'm gonna leave it right where it is. The comment was removed, so I'm good with that. You know what I'm saying? So, it is what it is. People, sometimes you can't help people's small degenerate minds. You know what I'm saying? They refuse to take in logic. They refuse to take in the truth. They turn into something else. So it is what it is. This is the problem with people these days. So we just gotta deal with it. But on that note, Mecole Hardman called out the Jets on the poor coaching on the offensive side of the ball. This was his comments from the Pivot Podcast, which I'm gonna share with you guys in about a minute. Once again, I'm gonna give a big shout out to Ryan Clark, Channing Crowder, not Channing Crowder, and Fred Taylor. I believe Channing Crowder. Yeah, Channing Crowder. Why am I drawing a blank at this late at night? But yeah, so you guys want to join the podcast? I just added the link to the comment section. If you want to jump in the podcast, feel free. I won't be on for too long, but let's get right into it. First, let me share the comment on the Pivot Podcast with Channing Crowder, Fred Taylor, and Ryan Clark by Mecole Hardman. All right, let me just share that with you guys. 1 second. As he said a lot. So we're gonna get right to it. Give me a second. Technical difficulties, of course. I always got to deal with each time on this podcast. So that's why I'm no longer going to be used to StreamYard. This probably be my last time used to StreamYard. This should not be happening. Let's try this again, guys. Patiently waiting for this to come up. to allow me to share the video. But I'm not gonna even gonna do it. Let's get on with the podcast. Let's get on with the podcast. Yeah. So he basically said in so many words that the defensive side of the football was much more stabilized. Coaches knew what they were doing. I'm just paraphrasing, and that the offensive side of the football had no clue what to do, no clue what's going on. They pretty much left it up to Aaron Rodgers to make all the calls, and they had no answer once Aaron Rodgers got injured. As I'm going to bring in Joey G into the podcast, I got started. You know what I'm saying? Joey G was good, my
What's
man.
good with the peoples? Hold on, let me get the audio right.
Yes, sir.
The audio right.
Because bro, we are live right now. So while you're getting the audio straight, I'm gonna continue on. Just give me a thumbs up when you're ready to jump in. All right. Yes, sir. So now, you know what I'm saying? He said so many words, and Thomas Morstead pretty much said something to him like, "Hey, you got beat up by undrafted free agent." Um, in which I'm gonna say, don't you try to come for a guy who won 3 Super Bowls, who made the game winning cash on the Super Bowl, and that's just leave it be. I mean, everyone in their mama saw what was going on in the Jets camp as far as the dysfunctional offensive side of the football. Um, couldn't score, difficulty scoring. Um, the the coach staff had made no adjustments, especially Mr. Hackett. You know what we saw this season, the New York Jets was embarrassing, and the drama still continues. And now, what it is now after all this, after the comments by Mecole Hardman, which he admitted that he did reach out to the Chiefs general manager and Pat Mahomes to get him back from the Jets. You know what I'm saying? And also, there's other situations in which you know he may have given the playbook to the Eagles and Chiefs. I don't know how that helped the Chiefs, sort of, especially the Eagles, because the Eagles still lost against the Jets, in which Zach Wilson played one of his best games. Yeah, he actually played against those two teams. He played the best. So if that's what it took to get Zach Wilson to play his best football, keep leaking that playbook. But one thing that I'm gonna make perfectly clear: if it's true, I think he had pretty much admitted that the tampering situation. But if it's proven that he's been given the playbook of the New York Jets to other teams, that has to be addressed. That has to come with a stern punishment, because that's beyond gamesmanship. That's being grimy and not being a good teammate to the guys that you're playing with. Granted, granted, you're not getting the starting role that you thought you were going to get. Granted, you didn't get the play time that you wanted to get, but that doesn't give you the right to leak out playbooks and plays to other teams that you're going to play. If that's the case, where's your professionalism as a football player in doing that?
Hmm.
You just show that you lack it. And then he's trying to take it back after they got this man on wax, admitting that he reached out to the Chiefs to trade back for him. How stupid is that? Joe, would you just give me your thoughts on that, man?
I mean, we come from a era of integrity. We we know what our parents went through and their parents before that went through. When it comes to um, let's having morals, let's put that on the table. All right, and then we come to sports. We hope that it translates, right?
Mm-hmm.
Am I wrong for saying that?
No, you're not wrong for saying that.
Okay, we want it to translate and be effective across the board. If I'm working for this team, I'm holding the secrets down for this team.
Hmm.
I'm not going to give it away to another team for them to take what we worked so hard for and have them compromise what we've been working so hard for.
Volume, volume, 54.
My
That
bad
was
if that
pretty
came
funny.
up on the podcast.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah, it's wild right now with this with the whole podcast is kind of like been screwed because of the service and StreamYard. StreamYard sucks. I don't want to use this shit anymore. It's just frustrating every time I jump on this damn engine. It does this shit to me. But nevertheless, Joey G, you are absolutely right about what you said. Absolutely
Hmm.
right. And it goes to show you that the coaching staff has no control over their players. As you see in players speaking out of turn, which is whether it's Sauce Gardner, other players who are speaking out of turn, trying to be recruiting, trying to be GMs. These guys need to know their place. Let the GM do his job. I granted, I understand he does a very bad job at picking players, but he was hired to do that job. You're hired to play the damn game.
If people
You
want to
guys got to know what
understand,
you're doing.
if they want to understand the game itself, just the game of being a general manager or the behind the scenes, I suggest watching what's that show with The Rock on HBO. Players, I want to say it's Players.
Hmm.
Watch that show just to understand the workings behind the scenes and dealing with the players and being an agent dealing with the players and trying to politic with the higher ups and trying to deal with all that stuff. But what I'm getting at is basically when you're going through those situations. Yeah, I lost my train of thought. Damn it. um, what I'm saying is basically boils down to, yeah, I lost my train of thought, bro. My bad. But
Hmm.
I was trying to go to the players because it was explaining exactly what you were talking about, dealing with behind the scenes and having players that you can't really uh, hold down to accountability when they're more a diva status, if you will. They kind of go on their own whim. Um, and then you have other players who just follow suit, like they do what they need to do. Some players do with the political aspect of the game and everything like that. I don't know if you watched the show, so I don't know how to explain it. I know how to explain it to people that are watching the podcast, but I don't know if you watched it, so you could chime in a little bit.
I definitely watch Ballers. I definitely watch
Ballers,
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 but
ballers.
there's some similarities, but by the same token, we're dealing with Ballers, yeah, Ballers. But we're dealing with straight reality, how it affects the team's chances to get free agents on this team. The control of the team.
Hmm.
Who in their right mind as a free agent is going to come on this team and play for a coach who has no control of the players? The inmates are running the asylum. And I feel that, Woody Johnson made a very big mistake in allowing Joe Douglas and finish off, to get one more chance at running this team. You got to have some sense of discipline. You got to have some sense of control over your team. If you can't provide that, who no matter how much money you throw at somebody, who wants to come to this team?
True.
So
I'm, I'm not going to disagree with
the
that.
Jets they need a defensive tackle. They need another wide receiver. They need
Mhm.
a defensive tackle. They need all offensive linemen.
Mhm.
So my thing is, how you expect to get them free agents if you don't have control of the locker room? You're saying that the
True.
quarterback has more control over the locker room than you do as a head coach and as a general manager? If that's the case, you might as well just get rid of the quarterback and start all over, like
Right.
right now.
Right.
I could care less if he's a Hall of Fame quarterback,
Right. That shouldn't matter.
but he has been nothing but. Mhm.
It shouldn't
So
matter.
my thing
That
my
part
thing
shouldn't
is
matter.
my thing is, bro.
Mhm.
So yeah, so on that note, I have a few theories I think they should do with the Jets before we move on to the Knicks part of the podcast. I think then the Jets should definitely keep Mekhi Becton, the left tackle who struggled this year, coming back
Mhm.
from his knee injury. Actually played close to a full season this season. After
Mhm.
not playing 2 years, I think they should re-sign him to a low salary, a salary that's sensible for a guy who has the potential to be a great player, but let's not pay him. Let's pay him based on his performance from the previous year. And still draft a left tackle. That doesn't stop you from drafting the left tackle. You sign him,
Okay.
and then you draft somebody else. Create competition. Nothing breeds a player's great play than competition. If he feels that he's a
True.
shoe in to win the starting job, he's gonna be lax. So
Right.
sign Mekhi Becton, draft your left tackle, draft your wide receiver, draft your D tackle, and I think they need a safety, a safety for a long term safety solution at safety. That's what I think they need to do. Get
Mhm.
prepared to have a quarterback as backup to Aaron Rodgers in case he gets injured again. He's going to be 41 years old starting the season. Get somebody in there who could fill in the gap for the Jets in case Aaron Rodgers gets injured again. They still got to fill holes in their coaching staff as well.
True.
A lot of guys left, so that all goes to show you who you're gonna choose, who you're gonna pick, who you're gonna choose to fill those holes. You gotta have a strong organization in order to be a great organization,
True.
and that's what's falling apart right now. But on that note, I'm tired of talking about the New York Jets. We should be on basketball. Should we talk about New York Knicks? Should talk about New York Knicks basketball right now. Not talk about New York fucking Jets. Bro, we're gonna come back. We're gonna come back to the Jets later on because I gotta tell you a story how I got some troll got on the post that I responded to, which I was called Uncle Tom. I was called Uncle Tom. I was
Mhm.
called a racist.
Okay.
What else? I'm a pro Trump supporter.
Far
And
from the truth.
what I said had nothing to do with politics. Had nothing to do with politics. Had nothing to do with me being a racist. This guy felt he had to come out and say some shit. I don't know,
Right.
but we'll
Right.
talk about that later. Because I was gonna put him.
Right.
I was gonna share that comment,
Mhm.
but I guess the person who posted the actual post, I think got that comment removed when he called me a racist. So
Right.
called me Uncle Tom and all that stuff. So if you were a brother, I mean, you call me Uncle Tom, you call me all this situation. You should at least have your picture on Facebook. Don't have it
Right.
blank.
Mhm.
But I digress. We'll
Billy
talk about that
Blanks.
shit a little.
Billy
We talk
Blanks.
about this. We talk about that shit later. Now,
Mhm.
bro, let's talk about the New York Knicks. You and I both watched both games together. We watched,
Mhm.
especially the Pistons game. We watched that together, which he came out with a
Right.
130 to 111 victory against the Pistons,
Mhm.
based off that non-call at the end of the game when DiFrancesco was going for the ball and the other player was going for the ball. Everyone was upset. The coach Monty Williams was upset for the Pistons. Like there
Right.
should have been a foul called on that. But I thought that Dante beat the man to the ball. He has that right to get that
Right.
ball and make a play. So
Right.
it was a good call, good non-call. And then Josh Hart got
Good non
fouled at the end of
call.
the game, even though he missed some free throws. You know what I'm saying? We were able to
Right.
pull out the victory. So your thoughts on the game, bro?
I mean, I loved it. You know what I'm saying? I like the way the Knicks are playing right now. I enjoy it. It brings me back to the Bulls Knicks rivalry. It brings me back to that era where we see John Stockton um, taking taking a lead in his position. There's a lot of players on the Knicks that I love right now.
Mhm,
I want to see them do more. Um, it's just there's a lot of potential, and I want to see the growth, but I want to see it all at once. I want to see it all at once. Um,
mhm,
I'm excited. That's basically what I'm boiling down to. There's a lot of nervousness because it's like they have so much potential that they could uh, get to the playoffs and probably be um champions this year if they choose to be. But a lot of people have to take their role seriously and they have to step up. They can't rely on
mhm.
Brunson to do most of the work. They can't rely on that. They have to have a cohesive team, kind of like the Bulls did back then, where they didn't they worked together as a unit. Yeah, you had some players that were dominant as far as being the go-to, but they also had other players that would step up to fill in the gaps. We need more of that.
True that. And another thing too. You mentioned about the Jalen Brunson. They do have some players out with injury. With Julius Randle and OG Anunoby. I did mention on my IG live yesterday that
Hmm.
it was a great trade for both teams. You trade away RJ Barrett, you traded away IQ for Anunoby and
Hmm.
Prince Ochua. Prince Ochua for me is like the guy, guy that was a throw in, who still had to be more of a um precious addition to the team. You know, to the team because he's filling in holes, he's filling in the minutes for Julius Randle and things like that. But you can't. But you need your main guys to come back because if you overexpose them, they're going to be exposed as what they really are. So you can't really
Right.
overexpose them, and that was exposed in the next game. They played it back to back against the Pelicans.
Yeah. Hmm.
You're asking DiFrancesco to carry the team offensively. Josh Hart is not a great shooter. He was missing a lot of free throws during that game. They were down
Right.
big early in the game. They made their
Hmm.
comeback, and then they fell back. They fell back down again with a big lead. They were down by I think like 18 points, and then they tried to make a drive to come back
Hmm.
to and try to tie the game. But yet you got guys who are missing right open 3-pointers. You got guys
Yeah.
missing free throws.
Too
You
much.
can't come back if you're doing those things.
Can't do that, and you can't miss. The free throws are very important.
Mm-hmm.
Very important. Like you can't be missing free throws. You should be getting those every single one of them. Like I can see for the money you're making, you shouldn't be missing
Right.
them. For the money you're making, you shouldn't be missing them. We laughed at Shaquille O'Neal for missing his free throws and stuff like that, but he actually worked on his game to get it up to par, at least where he's more consistent when it comes to going to the line. So now
Mm-hmm.
we have we have people going to the line and are missing. They get what's needed. They get the foul. Okay, now they go to the
Mm-hmm.
line, and now you're missing easy points.
Mm-hmm.
Adding all these things up, regardless of the mistakes and the turnovers and stuff like that during the game, these add up to either close the gap as far as the end result, or just puts you over. So I'm kind of upset about that. Just watching missed free throws. That shouldn't be. That's
Yeah,
like basic basketball.
true that. Plus that game against the Pelicans, they were out without Brunson. He didn't play because of a
No,
stiff neck.
but the
Hardelstein, the center, was out with Achilles in his kid can't play a back to back because of his Achilles injury, and you got to be careful with
mhm,
Achilles injuries. Got to be
yeah,
careful with those. Those don't just go away overnight. It takes time.
yeah,
So another thing too. This is what I was saying though. It's very important for the Knicks to get back Grant. It was very important to get the Knicks to get back Ananobi to fill out that roster. Because let me tell you something, bro. This team with its full
hmm
roster, with the addition of Bogdanovich and Alec
right,
Burks, this team, if it's on full healthy, they're on full throttle. This is a top three team in the East.
right,
There's no argument about that. They're a top three team in the East. The only thing that would probably hold them back would be the coaching, the stubborn coaching, the lack
sure,
of adjustments on offense.
right,
And I kind of saw that again when they were playing against the Pelicans. You needed scorers on the floor, and Bogdanovich is only getting 26 minutes.
right,
He has to get at least 35 minutes. This guy was averaging 20 points per game with Detroit, the worst team in the
right,
NBA.
right. You got to give him
And I
time
want
to
to
at
before,
least warm up. Give him at least a good
yeah.
time to warm up. Because I
No, he was
noticed
doing his
that.
thing.
No, I noticed that once they get hot, they're good. You just have to
Mhm.
keep them out there. You can't keep pulling them out.
Nah, I want to give a big shout out for big shout out to Quentin Grimes on his play
Hmm.
against the Knicks. And I know it broke
Hmm.
his heart that he lost. A lot of ill feelings. I have mixed feelings about Quentin Grimes as a player. But he did
Hmm.
show up in the fourth quarter against the Knicks, scored 14 big points. They booed the hell out of Evan Fournier. Um, I want to talk about that, and then let's get back to the Pelicans game because right now the Knicks tomorrow night they're going to be playing the Golden State Warriors. They got to get the act together. Brunson has to be back on that lineup tomorrow, and so does
Yeah.
Hardenstein because they're going to need both of them tomorrow
As
against the,
far
against
as
the Golden State Warriors. The Golden State Warriors are making that run. They're making that
as
run
far
for the playoffs.
as far
So the Knicks
as
got to be
far as the
careful.
poster as far as the poster is concerned, Brunson's back. They're pushing him,
Yeah.
so hopefully we'll see him back. Um, I do like seeing Brunson out there, but I want the Knicks to work on the other teammates also. Like, you can't rely on just Brunson, man. Like, he's a target. It's almost like watching watching a running back on the field um, get
Hmm.
swarmed, and that's what I see on the basketball
Hmm.
court. Like, Brunson is getting swarmed. It turned
Oh
from
yeah.
a 1-on-1 to a 2-on-1 to a 3-on-1. I'm like, damn. And then he's getting fouled hard. It's not like
Mhm.
it's not like small fouls. It's not like a little tap or whatever. He's getting hit hard to the point you seeing he had to compose himself, then come back from that. I'm like, damn. Like, I give him credit. He does what he does.
Mhm.
He produces, but he shouldn't have to be the one to take all those blunts.
No, he
The,
shouldn't. He
the,
shouldn't.
he shouldn't.
And that
He
goes to
shouldn't.
coaching. That goes to coaching. The coaching has to
Right.
know how to coach the offense. Can't be all
Right.
defense all the time. It can't
It
be
can't
no.
be.
It can't be a pickup game. It can't be ISO ball either.
No. I've we've
Let's
talked
get some
about
pick
this
and
before.
rolls. Let's get some motion.
Right. We've talked about this before. I didn't understand before we talked about it. I didn't understand um the concept. The concept of what you were talking about. But after watching, yeah, I kind of picked that up too. Like we're just playing basketball. That's basically what you're saying. Go out there and just make a goal. That's what I want you to do.
Hmm.
Go make a goal.
Hmm.
No, I get it to a certain degree because I'm not savvy as far as the playmaking. Like if we did
Hmm.
Madden, if we were playing Madden, you have your teams and they have their specific plays that they're known for. Like I don't know those plays as far as basketball is concerned, nor football.
Hmm.
But it shouldn't be just playing regular basketball. Like you shouldn't just throw them
Hmm.
out there. Just go make a goal. I want you to do this. You make your 3 pointers because you're known for doing that. You get an opening, you do that. It shouldn't be like that. And yeah,
Hmm.
I do agree with you. It feels like that's what it is. You're not gonna win with every team doing that strategy. It sounds good. It's almost like playing street ball, but not. You're in a different caliber of basketball right now. You're professional level. Um, yeah, I don't see that strategy working at all.
True that. True that. Now, as we pivot, before we pivot, big game tomorrow on TNT National TV. New York
Hmm.
Knicks, Golden State Warriors at the Garden tomorrow. Stay
Watch that.
tuned. Watch the game. I hope to have another assessment commentary about the game sometime during the weekend, if not earlier next week. Hopefully, I have our brother Matthew with us to join us on the podcast in regards to that. Let's make that happen. But let's get to
Word.
baseball because that's what we're about now. We're at that season. Spring training has officially started. Regular season is about to start next couple of weeks. I want to talk about my New York Mets. I haven't been watching the Yankees too much to give my assessment of them yet, but I will
Mm,
once I do some things and do my homework. But
mm,
the Mets are up to are I believe 3-1 spring training record to start. The one thing I don't like about the New York media is the constant talk about trading Pete Alonso. They
mm.
need to stop doing that. The media needs to stop pushing this agenda of trading away Pete Alonso. They're putting out false reports that he hates being here, that he's a cancer in the locker room. This needs to stop.
Okay.
This needs to stop.
Why do
The
you
media
feel
are
that?
not general managers.
Why do you feel they're pushing that so hard?
Because he's going to be a free agent, and he has an agent that's going to ask for a lot of money. His
Okay.
agent Scott Boras, he wants to maximize on his 5% cut on working that contract. Trust me, believe that.
Okay.
Trust me, believe that. But this all could have been avoided had they extended him the year before he hired Scott Boras as his
Mm,
agent. They chose not to do that.
mm.
You know what I'm saying? So you can't blame a player who wants to get more money. But this guy has emphasized to the media, he has emphasized to the fans how much he wants to be a
Mhm.
let's just work on a contract that's comfortable for all parties and get him signed so the stupid talk about trading him stops.
Mm.
This is going to be a distraction for this team.
True.
This team is slated to be fourth place in the division. I think if things go right, if Starling Marte is healthy, if Francisco Lindor has a better season than he did last season, if Edwin Diaz comes back to form, if Pete Alonso is Pete
Mhm.
Alonso, if Jeff McNeil is a top five hitter batting average wise, this team could compete for a playoff spot this season. The
Okay.
problem was the problem. Yes, the pitching is kind of suspect this year, but that was not the problem last year. The problem was the offense. And the fact of the matter is, they're going into the season with Mark Vientos as the everyday DH, while you still have JD Martinez out there, while you still have Cody Bellinger out there. Um, I don't know I don't know what David Stearns is thinking. I don't know what his plan is because he's been close to the hip with his
Hmm.
plan. All I'm saying is it's going to come to a point that the owner, when it comes to Peter Alonso, the owner's going to have to step in and close that deal. Not his general manager.
Okay.
The owner has to step in and close that deal and say,
Okay.
listen, we're going to give you this to stay on our team. I want you to be on the team for the rest of your career and call it a day.
Right.
The general manager came from Milwaukee, a small market team. This is New York. We go for the home run all the time.
Right.
Stop pinching pennies because we had that with the Wilpons, pinching pennies.
Hmm. Hmm.
We brought in Steve Cohen. Steve Cohen brought the team, the richest owner in baseball. We can't have him pinching pennies either.
Right.
I know you're trying to build up the farm system. I know you're trying to build up the minor leagues. You can build the minor leagues, but you guys still got to field the team that we at least give the fans an opportunity to cheer late into September for a possible playoff berth.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So that's my view on the New York Mets. I mean, there's a lot I could say. The Mets missed out on signing Aroldis Chapman. They got beat out by the Pirates, and they ended up giving them $10 million. The Mets was offered $8 million. Why could the Mets give them $10 million to set up for Edwin Diaz? What was wrong with that picture? Why is everything slow? Why is it slow to maneuver? I understand that the free agent class is not the best this year,
Right.
but at least get some parts.
Hmm.
Add some things to the equation.
It's true. It's needed.
But I digress. We about to wrap up this podcast, my brother. Thanks for joining me. Um,
Not a problem.
did you happen to watch Elimination Chamber?
Oh,
The WWE, the Elimination Chamber.
this is recent.
Yeah, the last paid
The last one,
premium
no,
live event.
no, I did not. Like you gotta let me know when these things are because um, put it this way, I'm more more in tune right now to watch Knicks basketball than I am with the WWE, and that's only because I get notifications on my phone when that's coming on, so I can watch it now. Um, the WWE, I have to get back into it, man. There's a lot of things going on, and we really need to get back into the Vince McMahon case and talk about that and how it's affecting the WWE. We have superstars that are being, I won't say blacklisted, but they're being pretty much erased from WWE because of this case, like Brock Lesnar.
Mm-hmm.
So um, yeah, there's a lot to talk about.
Definitely, bro. That's probably gonna be another episode for next week.
It will be.
But I
It will
do I
be.
do understand why you missed out on the premium live event because the event was in Australia. So the event started at
Yeah.
5 a.m. that morning, Saturday morning, our
Yeah,
time.
I'm not. I'm not privy. I'm not privy to it, and there's. I'm not privy to it. I need more no text. Let me know. I'll watch it. But I'm not in tune like I used to be because it's a new era. There's a lot
Hmm.
going on right now as far as the WWE is concerned. Um, I'd like to see it expand to what we knew growing up and have good storylines and just keep running with characters that seem can carry the ball, if you will. Um, to between me and you talking about it and what we know about the WWE back in the day, If we were able to write for the WWE, I'm pretty sure we have some creative things, new energy that you haven't seen before. Um, we need to talk about that also in future podcasts and get other people that
You know, I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
like what's his name, um, Mars. We need to get Mars on the podcast and talk some WWE, um, and brainstorm, if you will, creatively what we would do as far as the lineups and how we would handle it, all of that, just to give a different take. I wish we had
Hmm.
our brother D Brown. I wish we had him on there, Ricky
Hmm.
Brown. I wish we had him on here because this would be right up his alley. Right up his alley from the man who used to go out to the stadiums and watch.
Hmm.
Not only watch on the television, he was there in the stadiums watching these athletes do what they do. Um, so yeah, we need to get back into that.
Well, bro, on that note, before we end the podcast, yo, we just gotta catch up. Peacock, we can't watch up Peacock, catch up on it. We got a lot to talk about the Elimination Chamber. Um,
Listen, I'll
we,
do my due diligence. I'll do my
mhm,
diligence. Tomorrow is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We have 3 days to get right.
got you, got you. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna end the podcast here. It's great to be back chatting with you guys again on the True Players podcast. And keep in mind, we are working some great episodes for you guys. We have a few episodes. We're going to talk about the Vince McMahon lawsuit. Hopefully, we have Pascal MD to join us on that podcast. And then we have to.
Fire.
I gotta have my brother Matthew on the podcast talk about spring training and Knicks after All Star break. I want to talk about the All Star game, but I'm just gonna leave it alone because the All Star game this year was boring to me. It wasn't their typical All Star game. I don't know. I just feel this new generation has ruined the NBA basketball. This new generation really ruined it for me.
Man, we gotta understand where it's coming from. Also, like this is what I was talking about before before we got back into doing the sports. Before I got back into talking about the sports and everything like that, this is my interjection. I interjected that
Mm-hmm.
are we moving towards a sports betting type situation where games are dictated by the bets? Because there's a field there. There's a field there. There's certain players that they work, but they're not going to work so hard.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's something like that. Like my money is good
True.
right here. I'm going to go the extra mile if I could create this to get that extra money. If not, I'm going to step back and I'm good. There's a lot of that I see. Even even watching just simple games, watching simple games that you feel like your team is gonna win, regardless of who your team is. If you're watching the game and you know your team and you know what they're capable of doing, I feel like bets are starting to dictate what the players do on the field and all of that. Like I feel like that's the new trend. That's what's trending right now. Like before we had superstars go out there and do what they do for the money, but they'll do their money's worth. Like I got paid to do this. This is what I'm going to do, and they're not doing extra. They're not doing less, but they're just doing just enough to cash that check. That's what I'm feeling right now. Like we're on a different level. We went from that
Mm-hmm.
to we got to add bets in there. oh, if I do this, I could get a little bit from that. So each game is a different set of money. Like, think about it.
Hmm.
Think about it. Like, you got your salary. Okay, I got my salary for the year. I know what I'm gonna make. Now we're playing individual games. Individual games, we have bets.
Hmm.
You told me, as far as
Hmm.
when we're doing the bets, we have a certain amount of points for certain players that are gonna make X amount of shots, whatever the case may be. Those little individual bets, you
Hmm.
don't think the player knows about that? Like, you could be forwarded. It's
Of
almost like
course.
in it's almost like what do you call it? Interstock trading. Instead, we're doing bets. It's deep. I understand. It's deep to talk about. There's a lot to go over and get right, and do a little bit of research as far as that's concerned. It's a theory that I'm working with. I've seen it, and I've been on this mission since I watched boxing. I'm sorry. I lost my
Hmm.
boxing, and ever since then, I've been looking at other sports like, let's see what's going on here, because I don't like it. Boxing has been my pet peeve, and when boxing becomes predictable to the point where you see certain promoters and just promotion, and you're just looking at like, I already know who's going to win, and you haven't even seen them box yet. That's crazy to me. I don't want sports to become as predictable, regardless of what it is. If we're watching basketball,
Let the
football,
players play.
let them play. Let them play. I want to see. I want to see all out. Let's get it. Let's get it. They have a lot of good talent. All teams have a lot of good talent. I like to see that. We can't come from like a Michael Jordan, Shaq, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird. We can't come from all of that. LeBron, you can put LeBron in there. we can't we can't come from all of that to lose it to this. Like, ah, that's just me. I'm sorry.
No doubt.
I hope I didn't
On
lose.
that note,
Hope
bro,
I
let's
didn't
end
lose
this
anybody
podcast.
for now.
Nah, nah. Let's end this podcast, bro. We
Hmm.
wish everybody a great after
Right.
this weekend. We will discuss more games. Hopefully, Joe will catch up on the Elimination Chamber so we can have a great conversation about that
I'll
of
definitely do
that
that.
premium live event.
Okay.
So it's your man Big Dom signing off on this podcast. I'll see y'all next episode. Peace.
Next episode. Peace.